Holy mackerel, whatever that means. Is there an unholy mackerel, Mr. Producer? Is it a religious thing, or what is it exactly? Don't all Google it and then call me and tell me what it is. I actually know. But anyway, well, it's very interesting what's going on here in terms of the so-called phony shutdown. The so-called phony shutdown is still in place. Now, unless you work for the government, and many people who do work for the government are unaffected, the vast majority of you in this audience are unaffected. Okay? Enjoy your weekend. Go out there and get a well-done steak with ketchup, Mr. Producer. Isn't that how you like it? It's how the president and I like it. It's not because I'm copying him. It's because that's the way I've always eaten it. I've told that funny story. And you know what? I like it. Too bad. I don't like gummy steak. I'm not gumming away at it, you know. I'll have mine rare. Ugh, gross. But anyway, so Hamas, the president threw down with Hamas. He gave them till Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Did they enter the deal, or Israel will finish the job? Then about what? Hour and a half, 2 hours before we came on the air here, Hamas responds. I've read the response. I find it a little confounding. They'll release the hostages. It didn't say when. They had 72 hours to do it, and I can go on and on about it. And they want to continue to negotiate, at least details. And they seem to want some role in some of this. Looked like they were playing rope-a-dope. Then the president steps in, and he issues a statement. And it's a very positive statement. And he feels that now progress is going to be made, that Hamas wants a deal. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep my powder dry and look at this. If things are going in the right direction, and how would I know? I'm not involved in the activities. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. That's a good thing. I think, again, we'll know soon enough if this is rope-a-dope or if this is the real thing. And if it's the real thing, good. Good. Honestly, he did send me a few texts before the program. And by the way, he doesn't do that so I don't speak or I don't give my... I always speak, give my opinion, post my thoughts, and so forth and so on. But again, I will say this. If he wasn't the president, if it was some mealy mouth, some rhino, some Democrat, I wouldn't trust them at all. I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't. So he deserves a little time and space, and so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So I have really nothing else to say. I don't know what else is going on. And we shall see. We shall see. The youth of today will be the leaders of tomorrow, and it's more critical now than ever that we train up the next generation to fearlessly defend conservative values. The Heritage Foundation's Young Leaders Program equips young conservatives with the principled foundation and policy knowledge needed to stand up in a world increasingly hostile to conservatives. The Young Leaders Program is more than an internship. Participants work right alongside Heritage professionals, and they learn valuable workplace skills. They attend weekly policy briefings from Heritage's top experts and have access to practical skill-building workshops. They visit historical sites in Washington and even unparalleled mentorship opportunities. If you or anyone in your life is looking to spend a semester in our nation's capital with the best and the brightest of the conservative movement, please go to heritage.org/Levin, heritage.org/Levin. Go there today. Learn more about the Young Leaders Program. Applications for the spring semester close October 5th, so you have to hurry. Our nation's future depends on patriots like you, spreading the word to make sure the next generation is equipped. Go to heritage.org/Levin today. That's heritage.org/Levin. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation. I do know the president has asked Israel to stop military activities so the hostages can get out. Now, that may be a very good sign, right, Mr. Producer? It'll also be interesting to see how many hostages are alive. More than interesting. We'll see how this works out. But again, I try not to jump in front of this stuff. We'll see. Everybody knows my view on Qatar. The president knows my view. Surely the vice president who monitors social media, I think, or his staff does. Everybody does. That's not a regime to be trusted. It's a regime that was involved in 9/11 and October 7th and the Taliban and all the rest of it. Propping up the Muslim Brotherhood, destroying our colleges and universities. Nobody's going to ever convince me to support that regime, let alone send my grandkids to war to fight for that regime. That's never going to happen. Never. And besides, an executive order doesn't substitute a treaty. If you're going to bind the United States in a systematic way, in a premeditated way, to a military alliance, I'm not talking about a memorandum of understanding. I'm not talking about, things that happen on the spot where we can get involved militarily. Those things are understood, and we've done that throughout the history of this country. But in terms of an official military alliance, which could include infantry, that is troops on the ground by the hundreds of thousands and so forth, that requires a treaty. It requires 3/4 of the senators present. The treaty clause is a very, very, very important clause in the Constitution. So I have serious disagreements with this. But again, that said, I don't know exactly what to make out of the Hamas situation, but we shall see. There may be things going on behind the scenes that we just don't know. I hope so. I suspect so. Because I don't think the president would go way out on a limb if he didn't think so. I'm reading the tea leaves, folks. Just like you. And man, do we have two great Life, Liberty, and Levin programs this weekend. Saturday, we've got Newt Gingrich and Ted Cruz, and we're going to talk about this so-called government shutdown. I just taped it. It's a fantastic show. You're going to love this show. And then we have our great Sunday show where we're going to have Senator John Kennedy for the first time on my show. He is hilarious. He's brilliant, this guy. He reminds me of Mark Twain and Will Rogers, that kind of thing. And you'll learn a lot more about him, too. And I think you're going to be spellbound by him because he's going to get half the show. And also Mark Penn, where we're going to discuss just how bad off the Democrat Party is. And I don't see any great middle rising up. I don't see any great moderates. You see Fetterman and a handful of others, but I don't see much in terms of pushback. And one of the things I want to discuss with him is we're not even talking about within the Democrat Party. The Democratic Socialist Party is not in the Democrat Party, yet they control the Democrat Party. This is how they're taking over the Democrat Party. These are outsiders in a Marxist-Islamist party, in a Stalinist Hamas party, that are controlling the Democrat Party. How does that happen? Because you have nothing but quislings and weaklings and pathetic nothings that lead the Democrat Party. And also because the Democrat Party apparently isn't that far away from the Democratic Socialists. Remember the book I wrote, American Marxism? Marxism customized for the Democrats and the left in this country. So there's that. They had a few votes. We're just playing catch-up here on what's going on, and then we're going to jump. Catch-up. I love catch-up. We're playing catch-up here, and then we'll jump in. There were a few test votes they had in the Senate on whether to open the government, because 17% of it is not. And trust me when I tell you the bureaucrats are going to make it, if they can, as painful as possible. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. That said, they had a few test votes in the Senate, and of course they couldn't get the Democrats to go along. They were never going to get the Democrats to go along this quickly. I mean, why would they do what they did and then reverse course in 3 days? So this will go on a little while, maybe a week, 2, 3, I don't know. We shall see. They're playing chicken over very little, quite frankly.